Everybody, and welcome to Victory Monday. I mean, total victory. Got the Cavs winning, the Browns winning, and even the Guardians have a new manager. Manny Acton. No, might be. Uh, a few things to talk about today. And I think some of the things that get focused on in the aftermath of wins are the things that I try to steer away from because it's obvious to go after certain things and certain comments. I kind of look at other things that are said and I ascribe maybe a little bit more significance to the things that kind of escape the attention of the media as opposed to the things that attract the attention of the media. For example, if you look on social media, there's always the Deshaun Watson argument. Was he any good? Wasn't he any good? Was he better? Was he the same? Was he worse? Is Kevin Stefanski a good coach? I mean, all of the stuff that gets repeated over and over and over again. Before I get into all of this, Jedrick Wills has an MCL injury with slight PCL problem, but a large, problem in the MCL, and that's always has been described as a sprain or strain there, and they're saying 6 weeks for him, and I find that to be accurate, by the way. So for once, what comes out of the coach's mouth and the medical people's mouth, I actually agree with. It's a 6 week thing. Jedrick Wills should be back at some point, and Hudson is going to have to fill his shoes. So there's that. In the aftermath of the game, the first half of the second half were very different things. Especially the start of the game, it was a little bit nerve-rattling to see Deshaun just not in rhythm and to see him throwing the ball downward again. And as I watched it, it's like, this guy doesn't really believe that his shoulder's okay. And something good's going to happen to him in order for something good to happen for him. And it did. He completed early on a long pass to Amari Cooper. And by the second half, he started looking like a version of himself. So nobody really could disagree that he did better. But what he played against was against a defense that, quite honestly, had to be on the field all day because their offense couldn't move the ball. So that gave him plenty of opportunities in field position to get certain things done. Here's something that, boy, I'm getting new takes. You know, I always thought so too, except for the Mustang. I thought the Mustang was a really nice car, but other than that, no. The Focus, that was a horrible car, wasn't it? Ford is terrible. I mean, compare him to backup backs all over the league. And if he's forced to go east-west, it's not so good. Sometimes when he goes right, slightly left, slightly right, up the middle, he can make a correct cut. But once he's going east-west, it's not a pretty thing. But there aren't very many runners who get stretched out in the NFL who are going to get any kind of yardage at all. I would say the same thing, Keith. I felt, and I said this yesterday, that it's such a mental thing when, you're differentiating pain with the fear of pain or twinges that make you remember the pain. And I think that is part of a big part right now of what he has to get over. Here's the first thing, and I know a lot of people are talking about this, the comment in the post game by Kevin Stefanski that Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper drew up the second long pass that Watson laid in there perfectly that took him down to the 3-yard line. And, they drew it in the dirt, according to Stefanski. And that obviously Amari Cooper and Deshaun Watson had a conversation and involved Kevin Stefanski in that conversation. And it's nice that they got it done. Here's the quote that I love from the press conference by Kevin Stefanski. Yeah, I mean, Amari gets a ton of attention. The big pass, again, that we drew up in the dirt. Well, they drew it up in the dirt. I called it. Fuck you. You didn't have the idea. That's like somebody seeing a washing machine that a guy invented and backward engineering it and figuring out how to build one and said, yep, washing machine, my idea. Kevin, Gwen. I think that Deshaun Watson is a good long thrower. He can make big plays, unlike a lot of other quarterbacks that we've had here. Brissett couldn't complete long passes. Joshua Dobbs doesn't complete long passes. Baker Mayfield did for a little bit, but it's never really been like that for him. Coaches try to keep him settled down rather than waking up dangerous. So many of the quarterbacks, Johnny Manziel, I don't even want to go back and remember all that shit. But just the way it's phrased, we drew it up in the dirt. Well, they drew it up in the dirt. I called it. But that's not the best quote of the press conference. I cannot believe the things that come out of Gwen Stefanski's mouth are just incredible. And I'm going to pull this up. They asked him, your thoughts on Cedric Tillman? I mean, I know he had only one target, but big shoes for him to fill. And here's what Stefanski said. You're going to love this. Yeah, big shoes. Obviously, we put him in there quite a bit, 54 snaps. Cedric Tillman was on the field 54 snaps. I'm just telling you that, all right? And put him in the role that Donovan Peoples-Jones has done for us, which is a lot of dirty work role in the run game. So first time out there, getting some reps under his belt, I'll think he'll continue to just get better. You're wondering why DPJ was never targeted? Because he was going to do the dirty work. I'm a fool to do your dirty work. Oh, yeah. Steely Dan. He's doing the role that DPJ's done for us, which is a lot of dirty work in the run game. Then why is he a wide receiver? I get so pissed off. Even his wide receivers are tight ends. He's never going to get more targets because they're going to turn him into a DPJ clone. They don't know what to do with a 6'3" wide receiver to throw the ball up in the air to him. They say, hey, 6'3", he's 220 pounds. Hey, he could block. Moron. You're never going to win without a downfield passing game. Not going to beat the Ravens. You're not going to beat anyone of substance. Yes. You can beat the Cardinals when they're playing a rookie quarterback and starting him, and he's never played in the NFL before. And you'll forget Clayton Tune's name, and you won't be able to name that tune in 500 notes. But there's an aversion for some reason, an aversion toward letting wide receivers be wide receivers. I understand blocking is an important part of the game, and there are wide receivers who are good blockers. But there are wide receivers who make big plays who are good receivers. It's almost like Amari Cooper is the only one who's allowed. So maybe that was the reason why they drew up the play in the dirt and the sidelines, because it's like Deshaun Watson's like, if I'm ever going to test this shoulder out, go downfield, there's only one motherfucker I can throw the ball to. And that's about the case. Unreal. Yeah, and this is going to be a problem, obviously, because, when the quarterback's dinged up or has an issue mentally about being dinged up, they're going to come after him. They're going to try to hurt him. And the offensive line is now minus Jedrick Wills, which in one respect isn't the worst thing in the world, because he may have overslept for that Ravens game and not made it to the field on time. But we have Hudson the Third, and we'll see. We'll see how badly he gets beaten and how many times he jumps off sides because he pisses his pants with all the motion in the front and the blitz fakes and the actual blitzes that the Ravens throw at them. It's going to be a very tough game. But I wonder, there's supposed to be a Victory Monday show, but I can't help it. Why would you play Cedric Tillman 54 snaps and make him block on every single one of them except one? Somebody explain this to me, please, sweet Jesus. Somebody please explain it to me, and why nobody is questioning the coach about this. Now, you're setting me up here, Keith. I don't want to go here. Whoever he's blocking in Baltimore. You're my bitch now, Hudson. Okay, enough of that. And you're right, Jim. Jarvis Landry was a really good blocker, very physical wide receiver in catching and blocking. I mean, and Hines Ward we were talking about him the other day. Hines Ward was a good blocking wide receiver. There are guys who are good at that. He was only targeted on one, but when the coach says in the presser that he had the same role as DPJ, he isn't the same player as DPJ. He's faster. He's even a little taller. He's younger. Give him a chance to have his own identity. Why does he have to step into that role? And that's the role that made DPJ stop trying. I knew he stopped trying. You get him into a goddamn contract here, and it's like, we're not going to throw the ball to you. We're going to fuck you out of your living. That's what they did to him. Yeah, and there is truth to this. Elijah Moore can do no wrong. And I don't know what he does. He doesn't block. He doesn't get open. He doesn't have good hands. I don't know. I wish I did know. But we're not going to be able to score enough points to beat the Ravens. Plain and simple. And I have questions whether we can beat the Steelers too, even though Steelers are not a good football team. But can we score enough points? And it's not going to be because of Deshaun Watson. I don't think Deshaun Watson has any other downfield, weapons that he can use. And it's just an ongoing problem. All right. God, it's just... There was one thing, and I'm going to bring Bronk in here real quick. Hi, Broncola.
Whoa.
Yeah, here's some, numbers which I really don't...
Sorry, I'm late. I was...
Yeah, you're allowed to be late. You're not getting paid.
No, I'm not. No, I'm just... I don't know if anybody else was watching this, but the Spurs-Chelsea game that was just finished was the most crazy sporting event I've ever seen in my life. But God Almighty,
The
Hmm.
the stats, the analytics, the PFF offensive grades.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
What I miss?
Well, I mean,
What did I miss?
they're going to tell you who did best for the Browns, but that's not the story. The story of this game is that the Cardinals' 5 best offensive grades.
Are probably 50s.
No, they're actually 50s, and the highest was a 61.
Yeah,
But
I can believe that. Yeah, they
but
were all.
but these are offensive grades. Froholt was their best with a
Oh,
61.6. Yeah,
Haagen-Dazs.
Froholt.
My
Yeah,
man.
der Schwedenhaus. Yeah.
Wow.
But every other one of these names, Carter O'Donnell and Andre Basilia and Dennis Daly and Kelvin Beachum, I mean, for God's sakes, there isn't a discernible offensive player in these offensive grades. These are all fucking linemen. The offensive linemen are the only high grade or the highest graded players
Yeah.
offensively.
And they got battered. They got absolutely battered and mullered.
The Browns just ran over them.
They
But I
got
mean,
battered.
with the quarterback being inept and with the receivers not seeing the ball, I mean, that tells the story of the whole game.
Yeah,
Here's
can people stop like having a go at DTR and say that he's got to be better than Clayton Tune?
well, I
No,
mean,
but they're the same thing. It's hard to tell.
well, I think the first time anyone sees that kind of speed coming at them, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But here's the thing that I noticed that's the most significant part of the Browns' PFF defensive grades. Myles Garrett had an 89.6. Adarius Smith had an 87.9. Okoronkwo, who's really been a good player for us, 83. Shelby Harris had a 91.8. Dalvin Tomlinson, an 85.4. At linebacker, Taki at 93. Anthony Walker, 77.8. But here's the thing that is the most interesting. Myles Garrett only needed to be on the field for 36 snaps. Nobody talks about that. Zadarius Smith, 30 snaps. Okoronkwo, 32. Shelby Harris, 19. Tomlinson, 32. Maurice Hurst was on the field for 24. Taki only 20. Anthony Walker, Captain Anthony Walker, 32. 32. Wow. I mean, that's because their offense was never on the fucking field. You think this Browns defense is good? Look how good a rested Browns defense is. That doesn't get worn down by the end of the game because the offense can't move the ball. They can't put up points. You put up points, and suddenly there's so many 3 and outs and just running over the opposition. I mean, they're all going to be really strong if they're on the field for only 32 or 34 snaps. Yeah, exactly, Rick. I'm sure he's played the Ravens often enough to know their weak spot. Yeah. But I thought sometimes in the numbers there are deeper stories rather than individual performance. It just it showed you the whole arc of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I thought that's interesting. They do their typical winners and losers. The Browns were the winners and the Cardinals were the losers. I get so tired of it.
That is crap.
And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Deshaun Watson was magnifico, although he had a 107.5 rating. And yes, I mean, numerically.
You wouldn't say it was a 107 rating sort of eye test game at all.
From an eye test perspective,
like an 80.
He started out, shaky. There's no question. Yeah. And I think he started believing that his arm felt better as the game went on. and he started maybe cutting loose with a few passes.
Well, yeah,
But
like anybody who's played anything, your confidence obviously goes up when you're playing well, the team's playing well, that you forget your injuries. I mean, you've told stories about that when you were playing tennis, that you were when you were playing and into it, you forgot how badly hurt you were at the time. So, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I
He's probably really sore today.
yeah, sure. And the thing that I can tell you is Deshaun Watson is so much better than any quarterback we've had that if he continues to
Obviously.
improve and stays healthy, you'll all see it because he has arm magic. And what he threw that was drawn up in the dirt was reminiscent of the accuracy of what Bernie Kosar would
Yeah,
throw.
Bernie was the last person that could throw a ball 40 yards and throw it
Keep the guy
into
in
a little
stride.
hoop. Yeah,
Yeah.
into like a 2-inch radius
Right, just
target.
accuracy, and
Yeah.
where people talk about Deshaun Watson, and they don't mention that 70% pass completion guy. I mean,
I
we
mean,
haven't seen it yet because I don't think you're ever going to see that with this offense. But if the field were a little bit more spread and gave him an opportunity, if he had more weapons and options to go to instead of Elijah Moore and that group of people, I think that if we had any wide receivers whatsoever besides Amari Cooper,
yeah.
we could have some diversification of our passing game, which unfortunately relies on our wide receivers blocking, you know. And, it's really funny, Keith. That's not true. Kosar did not have a cannon for an
He
arm.
didn't have the strongest arm, but he had the most
No,
fucking accurate arm that
accurate one. You could
there's a
watch
big
him throwing
difference.
football through a hanging tire. I don't know if you ever saw
Oh
him in the
yeah.
accuracy skills competition. I mean, he was so accurate. And the other thing is he knew how to put touch on the ball so that the receivers would run under it. He didn't throw ropes, but you remember all the stop and go patterns that Webster Slaughter would run,
Yeah.
and how Reggie Langhorne would get behind people. You just remember that the ball hung out there in the air so that they could run right under it.
It was just really soft ball to catch.
And
It
that's what
wasn't
Watson's pass
90
to
miles
Cooper
an
was.
hour.
That's
Yeah.
on both occasions. That ball was just lofted in there so that it just kept him moving after he
Well,
caught the
if you
ball.
think about the physics of the situation, I know that that's AWS bullshit, and then the analysis, the 10% and all that. But if you're throwing the ball and that ball matches the speed of the receiver running, when he catches it, it's nice and soft in his hands and he can just go straight in. And, that's the thing that's how hard this timing is. And people don't appreciate that. I mean, I think it's about time. I mean, it's fine of other fans of other teams to have a go at Watson. Go at it, go to it. But it's about time the Browns fans just like give him a fucking break.
Yeah, I think that as long as we have the inability to dial up deep patterns for we don't have the ability to dial it up for a number of receivers. And don't say Marquise Goodwin or else I'll slap
Oh,
you.
he's Anthony Schwartz in disguise.
We
He
don't
really is.
need, what we need are people who run clever patterns who can get behind defenders. And we need the chemistry between the quarterback and those receivers. And it's nice that he's developed that with Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's a real pro, just like Jarvis Landry was a real pro.
Correct.
But we
I
don't
mean, we could
have.
do with a Jarvis Landry type guy on the team as well. I mean, but obviously not Jarvis Landry because he's dead, but a similar type of guy. I mean,
Yeah,
why did we waste all those picks on Elijah Moore or whatever we did to trade for him? People go on about the Watson trade, but that Moore trade
really
was a
bad.
shit trade. It
I don't
really
see.
was, and you should be called out about that, Andrew
He just
Berry.
doesn't get open.
That was an awful trade.
And Brian Brennan, I see they're talking about Brian Brennan, and the fact is Brian Brennan would twist people into pretzels. He was not fast, but he was a very clever pattern runner. And
Yeah.
so often if you have, and even Webb Slaughter was not a fast guy, but he
No,
really was able to do something
he was
where
canny.
he could give you the illusion that his upper body had stopped running when his feet were still moving. And and that move that the immortalized in the overtime win against the Steelers.
Oh God, that was such a great play.
Yeah, I mean that's the classic stop
It
and
was like a
go.
moonwalk. He like moonwalked past the Steeler guy. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, but and people biting on that. The problem with the Browns is we don't, you don't have to bite on something if the pass pattern is 6 yards down the field.
Yeah.
They just got to keep everything in front of them. We don't have the ability yet to play behind the defensive backs where everything's in front, and it's
Well, there's a reason why Moore was traded. Obviously he's overrated. So
well, I mean, maybe the Browns thought that his speed, and we have a problem differentiating speed with ability. And
yeah,
you can be straight line fast, and that's Marquise Goodwin too. But you got to be able to get a guy leaning the wrong way to then use that speed to get open. And if you're just straight line, it isn't going to make a damn bit of difference.
Well,
believe me, Tyreek Hill is not just a straight line runner.
No, I mean, we're both old enough to remember the difference between Bob Hayes and Ronaldo Nehemiah. So, yeah,
right,
people
exactly.
can go fuck themselves. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, David, how you doing?
All good, Moo.
Good. You a happy guy?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah. That about says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy we won. I think that the team we played was demoralized. I think that when you don't tell the world who's playing the quarterback position for their team, and it's between Kyler Murray and Clayton Tune, and at the last moment it's like Clayton Tune. And do you think they're all going to rally around and go, yeah, Clayton's getting his shot? It's like, I don't think so.
That was horrific.
And Kyler Murray is back this week.
Who is?
Kyler Murray will be starting this week.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
we got lucky. We got lucky, baby.
They just didn't want to get him killed against the Browns. That's why he didn't play. They took the L beforehand.
Yeah, and there's probably truth in that too. And I think that they had to activate him or bye-bye for the season, and he's healthy enough to play. But people forget that Kyler Murray he hadn't been in any Super Bowls, so
no,
he can be dangerous, but he can also be dangerous to his team. And it would have been. He would have been much better. He would have been much better than Clayton Tune. That we can say. And no, and you know something, Jim? I know what you're saying. If Eric Mangini coached the team, 13-10. Yeah,
the Mangini.
And we were really rugged in the trenches. All that shit. But 27 points. 27 points is good enough for the Browns to beat the vast majority of teams that they will play. Correct. The question is, what's great is seeing Taki get a pick and Denzel Ward getting a pick. Yeah. And, we need those types of shorter field opportunities. And the problem is right now that the running game for the Ravens is picking up. And they're getting better that way, which is taking the pressure off of Lamar Jackson, the most overrated quarterback in the league. And, he goes whatever it was, completes a high percentage of his throws for 180 yards, and everybody wants to go down on him and blow him. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, let's not forget that there have been historically quarterbacks who had great running games surrounding them and actually could win a Super Bowl and not be any better than Trent Dilfer or not to be any better Joe Flacco or the New York Giants quarterback. Help me here. I always forget this guy.
Not Phil Simms.
No. The guy who won the Super Bowl. Who was Hostetler, yeah. I mean,
Major Hostetler.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of examples of quarterbacks who just were game managers and they let the good running game and defense win. And that's what they're turning Lamar Jackson into is don't make mistakes, high completion throws, big running game, bruising defense, and we're going to win. And that's what works for them.
That's fine. If we win, I'm all for it. I mean,
but I really don't think that Lamar Jackson, if left to his own devices, went to another team and somebody tried to convert him into a mad bomber like Darryl LaMonica or like he wants so that he will become the wealthiest football player who ever played. It wouldn't work. Right now, they're in a sweet spot and we're going in there and it's going to be very, very difficult. But
we have to win. Browns have to win this game too. I mean, if you look at the playoff picture, every single team in the AFC North is in the playoff thing, but you do not want to be below 4 if you're going into the playoffs. You really don't. The odds of getting through to the Super Bowl playing 3 away games is like the odds of us dating Britney Spears. It just isn't going to happen.
Well, I hope that wouldn't happen to anybody.
Anyway,
to be honest, yeah.
It's not just that, but they also host Cincinnati on Thursday night after they play us.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult. The schedule has been really front-loaded, difficult for us, and maybe
difficult for the Ravens now, though.
Yeah, everything. It's going to be interesting to see the tough games that you play if you're playing them on the road, like playing Seattle in Seattle's big difference than playing Geno Smith in a hostile environment. Wable, I'm going to disagree with you. What I can say about Dobbs is that everybody knows he's very bright.
Yeah.
He was an excellent college student. He's scholastically accomplished and he's a bright guy. He's got a high IQ. And I think that he's been around enough schemes and offenses to know his way around. But, look at what he's done in Arizona. 1-7 is what he did. And I think quarterbacks are judged by their win and loss record. And he never gave me the impression he could consistently score more than 17 to 20 points in a game. And so it continues no matter who he plays for. I think he has limitations, but I think that unlike a guy like Clayton Tune, who just, lost his skull in the speed of the game, I think Dobbs is a guy who can go into a situation and look at a playbook and learn that playbook and will give you a credible performance.
Yeah.
But he'll never give you an incredible performance because he just doesn't have the kind of arm strength and command to be able to do that.
Yeah, he doesn't have the athletic ability. I mean, him and Brissett are the ideal backup quarterbacks in a sense, but they're not starting quarterbacks.
Well, I mean, look, yes, you're not going to get an argument that from me, Wable, that he's better than PJ Walker and DTR. I mean, obviously,
yeah, that's down to Browns management again.
Yeah, that's what they decided to do. Now, whether DTR will wind up being better than Dobbs when he becomes a little bit more seasoned,
hard 4 years from now.
That's DTR, right. I mean, you don't know. But absolutely, right now he's a much more accomplished player, and we were talking about if Watson couldn't come back, that Brissett was, because Brissett doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and we have a defense that can hold teams down for the most part. I would have liked to have seen, Brittany dancing with the knives.
That's a matter of opinion.
That was completely uncomfortable.
Well, no, we actually have already seen her gash getting out of a car. I didn't want to see it.
I'm sorry I brought her up. Okay.
Well, there you go.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
Lord knows how fucked up in the head she is to make a video like that.
Oh, she's cuckoo. But you know, she is.
She's like a wide receiver. She's
No,
like
what she's like
crazy
is
wide receivers.
Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction.
Oh,
you know,
no.
that it's like you look at her and say, I have a chance. I have a chance with her, and then it happens. It's like, oh my god, I fucked her. Then it's like,
Yeah,
she's boiling my rabbit. It's like,
yeah.
it's just off kilter,
Can you imagine
man.
if you came home and you saw topaz on the stove in a pot? That would be horrible. God.
She was probably when she's coming up.
I mean, I've already told my Britney Spears story. I mean, we crossed paths. I mean, you couldn't help it.
When was this?
No.
All
right. Let's interrupt our program for a digression.
In Flint, Michigan, that's where I owned a top 40 radio station, WWCK radio, and we were only a matter of 40 minutes away from Detroit. So all the big concerts, came to Detroit, and one of them was that MTV Caravan back when downtown Julie Brown, if you remember her, she was an
I've heard of her.
African-American British accented VJ.
She's still on XM radio.
Is she really?
Yes, she is on the 90s channel.
Fucking bitch. She's a fucking bitch. England, these are the two things I took away from this. And the other thing, I mean, the thing about the MTV Traveling Caravan Tour, I call it that because it was all backing tracks. If you remember the Milli Vanilli disaster,
correct.
Girl, you know it's girl, you know it's girl.
Yeah.
Poor Millie or Vanilli, one of them doing the Running Man, trying to keep up with the skip. All were backing tracks, and there were no background musicians or anything like that. So they were singing live to pre-recorded tracks, and
karaoke basically.
Yeah, and Britney Spears doesn't sing very well. I mean, and at the time she was only 17 years old, and we had backstage passes. So backstage passes get you behind the scenes so you can see what's going on. She came off that stage and she was really unhappy with the mix because, they brought they brought the backing track down. And so you really could hear the fact that she didn't sing all that well. And she had kind of a reedy voice, not a real, strong voice. And there's no way to produce that shit, when you're singing into a hot mic. She comes off the stage and says, "Fuck this goddamn shit." I mean, Britney was like talking like a sailor.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's like, she was 17. So she learned the truth at 17. And but the MTV thing was the downfall of Milli Vanilli too, and
that died to death. Thank God, and live musicians everywhere are grateful that backing tracks are used kind of sparingly nowadays.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes they have to because let's say you have somebody like Meghan Trainor who's trying to dance, doesn't know how, and is not in condition. I mean, she's not.
You can't dance and sing at the same time.
Well,
you can't.
Well, you say that, but Michael Jackson actually would.
Well, there's
there were a few.
Him and Prince and James Brown
until he fucked up his back.
Yeah, right. Then he just took massive amounts of drugs. The idea behind backing tracks for artists like Janet Jackson would be a really good example. Nobody was going to mistake her for, a great dancing diva, but to do the choreography, the Paula Abdul inspired stuff.
You wouldn't want to hear Paula Abdul sing live either, would you?
No. I'd be in a rush to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
How many of them actually sound good live? That's what I'm wondering.
I mean,
you don't get to hear them because they're awful. They're not allowed to sing live. Yeah.
Yeah, it's look, I don't know if you're ripping on Pink. Pink has a hell of a voice.
Yeah, yeah, she can sing live.
Yeah, I mean, hell yeah. Uh, you're so fine, you blow my mind, Crumbly Q.
Wow.
Yeah, we're getting really into the nitty grit of it all.
I mean, Phil
Yeah, but
Collins had a hell of a voice back in the day, not so much now.
Who?
Phil Collins.
Oh, that was sad.
Phil can't even sing now.
Phil couldn't walk.
he's old though.
You know what I think
can't
was
dance.
unfortunate was him performing "I Can't Dance."
Yeah, exactly.
I can't dance. I can't sing. I can't tour.
I can't
Chris
stand.
Gunn. Yeah. Oh, it was terrible. I mean,
Poor Phil.
yeah. And calling a band Genesis. What was it? The Genesis of the crippled years.
And it
Oh,
also-
I'm sorry. I had to see him in the crippled years. Go ahead.
It also reminds me of
Go ahead.
Steve Harwell from Smash Mouth before he passed, and I'm not a Smash Mouth fan by any means, but I had seen like the last videos online and like the last shows he did before he stepped away from the band. I mean, he was just absolutely fucking plastered and gone.
Wow.
Yeah. And Rick May is really showing his chops. Two hearts that beat as one.
Wasn't she a one who wondered?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And
you need like a lobotomy to get all these bad tunes out of your head, so that you can fill up your brain with something else.
Yeah, I thought Stacy Q was a one hit wonder.
yeah, we can only hope. And then you have Peter Gabriel. Now, if you haven't done this, go on YouTube and look up the name of the song "The Court," Court. It's all part of a contest for Peter Gabriel's new release, in which there was a contest where they put together videos. And it's amazing some of the things that people came up with. And look at the two winners who did the track "The Court." And those are, utilizing all kinds of camera tricks. It's amazing.
Wow.
And, and you're right, Krembley, it is no fun. I mean, it hurt to watch Phil Collins. And I like Genesis. I love Peter Gabriel. I really like Genesis. And I like although I got a little sick of Phil Collins, when he was all over everything. But
Oh God, you should have been in England then. Jesus.
yeah, a good guy though. A good guy who never said anything ill of anyone,
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, I'm sorry I start this whole thread. It's my fault. And
You're good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're happy. This is Victory Monday. We can,
Victory Monday.
Any update on Marquise Goodwin?
Scramble brains.
Yeah. God, and he just went up for that pass, and it didn't look that bad. But,
I mean, it was a nice throw.
Yeah, the throw was, although they said it was very ducky, it was wobbling, but it was where it needed to be thrown. It's just he's only 5'9", and he's 32 years old. And my God, it's very unusual. It's one thing to see a guy stumble when he gets up, that kind of thing. But after he gets up, to have two guys holding him up when he leaves the field, that was really scary. Say what?
A lot like Trevor Burbick after he unfortunately faced Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he was like doing half somersaults. Oh my God!
Similar to Trevor Burbick in a booth seat in a Ponderosa, probably.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Man.
Oh God. And now we turn our heads forward as we're happy, and we look at the Ravens, and it's like, I'm not ready to talk about that because I'm still happy, because the Cavaliers won.
They did.
They beat the fucking Warriors. Yeah,
and they haven't beaten them for like about 8 years.
But the thing that was great about it is that without Isaac Okoro, they actually came together as a group and played defense.
Yeah.
And and the thing with the Warriors, they were 5-1 coming in and won 4 straight, and they had won all their games on the road. Is they need Thompson to score right up there with Curry. They got to get about 30 a night from those two guys in order to get the point production that they need, and they're not getting a lot of help from the other players on the team. And Curry got his, but only 15 points for Klay Thompson. And I thought that was really fun to see defense being played. It was interesting. 16 rebounds for Evan Mobley. Yeah. And when Jared Allen comes back, suddenly, he's taking up more space down low, and Mobley's swooping in and getting rebounds. I still want to see Mobley get more opportunities face up shooting the ball, so he can sharpen up some of his offensive game. But, Donovan Mitchell was tremendous. I mean, Garland scored 24, looked more like himself, although his legs aren't there yet, folks. I don't know, one of the big getting ready to raise the roof off the building, he clunked up a 3, Darius Garland, because his legs weren't under him, and they immediately took him out of the game. He's a ways to go before he's, big minutes ready. But 24 points, I mean, you can't win when you're missing Jared Allen's 14 points and Darius Garland's 22 points. That's like 36 points you got to make up. And George Niang is not going to do that for you.
He is. How awful is he? Jesus.
He's hungry. Leave him alone.
He looks absolutely terrible. All right, I won't pick on him.
And so yeah, that was fun to watch. The effort, and there was one play that left me like smiling, and that was the loose ball that Karis LeVert dove on and in one motion flipped it to Mobley, and Mobley then flipped it over
to Strus.
Strus for the lay-in. And
that was a great play.
That's the way you draw it up, man. It's like you see a loose ball, you get your ass on the ground. And it was nice seeing that we were the team doing that, not the Warriors. Another thing, if you missed it, in the first quarter of the game, the score was like 7-5.
I did miss it. I only saw the fourth quarter. I was having a nap, and I woke up and saw the fourth quarter.
For all the hatred that I have for Draymond Green, and it's significant.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Jared Allen kicked him in the nutsack.
Did he really?
Oh yeah.
If
you have the ability to watch that game a second time, the score 7-5, and he goes up for a rebound and he kicks his foot. But the way you get it is not with the tip of your shoe. You go right between the legs and up.
The laces.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
he knocked his testicles right into his lower intestine. And oh my God, Draymond fell on the floor and said, "That was a cheap shot." So much fun watching him writhe on the ground, getting kicked in the balls.
I'm glad you told me that. Somebody's got to have that up on the web somewhere. I got to be able to find that.
Look it up. I saw it. I caught it on YouTube. Somebody had
all over it,
and somebody had it up on Twitter. I wonder if I can find that.
Well, I don't know whether you'll have an issue with rights showing it, but.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
There's only 3 people watching this anyway, and one of them just left.
Hi.
No, there's 25 people watching. I stand corrected.
I stand corrected. Oh, good. Here we go. I might have this.
Please share it for me if you can. That way it'll save me.
Is this just a still? Oh, this is just a still.
Even that's just as good.
No, but it's not a good picture.
No. Just the idea of it. It's. I can imagine it might. Was it on their end of the floor or our end of the floor?
It was on
It
our
was
end
like-
of the floor. They were rebounding it.
Okay, so they were trying to get a defensive rebound.
Yeah, I'm trying to, I'll do this again.
But yeah, that sounds like that would be now the next thing. If Kelly Olynyk's still playing, we gotta rip out his shoulder. That's the next thing we gotta do.
Yeah, exactly.
Draymond Green deserves a kick in the nuts every time he goes out in the court. Really, if you ask me.
Yeah, I can't get
Oh,
what I'm looking for, but if anybody can
you're like
find
Bono,
a link,
aren't you? You still can't find.
oh yeah, well, I couldn't find his little wiener anyway. Fuck with him. I'm gonna try one more time here because it's just worth it.
Not a fan of Bono.
I call him Bono.
Here we go.
He's not Sonny Bono.
No.
Well, I'm not finding it.
I'm
It's really too bad.
Maybe
because-
for Friday's show you can cue it up.
Okay, one more time.
Oh, you may not have a Friday show. I forgot.
That's
You're
true.
leaving.
I'm
You are
not
leaving.
sure.
You're leaving on a jet plane.
Yeah, all my bags are packed. Oh, good. I think I have it.
Woo! Can we all go, no, at the appropriate moment? No.
Let's see if I can get this up here. Okay. He can't get. All right. Skip this ad. All right. I'm going to take a little piece of this and see if I can get this. This is going to be a little tricky.
Don't blow up your computer
All right,
while
because
you're
I'm
there.
going to try to get this to present and share screen and yep. Okay, good. We're getting there.
The look on your face is just priceless.
Yeah.
It's like you were like waiting for Christmas.
Share. Oh,
Oh
Re-
no.
re-
Here we go.
Here we go.
Donovan Mitchell split the defenders. Missed the floater. Look at Looney come in for that rebound. That was big.
Draymond got hit in the midsection.
Yeah, Draymond got hit
The
in the area. You
midsection,
don't grab
my
on
ass.
television.
My balls! My balls! Look,
And
look, here it comes. Watch.
Trying to get
Ah!
tear it out.
What a fucking loser.
High kick.
You gotta
say
remove
that
it.
basketball
Let's see
players
that one
Oh,
again. You gotta
boy.
play it again. At least
The writhing on the ground. Let's go.
Gary, you don't grab on television.
Oh my God, my nutsack! My nutsack! Oh my God! My testicles are up in my abdomen. Oh!
Yikes.
Oh, here we go.
That's a big.
Tear it out. That's a hard.
See, this is what part of Victory Monday is all about, folks.
Oh, let's see it again.
No, that's all you get out of me. I mean, my God, I'm just laughing my fucking ass off. Oh God, make that continue on forever.
Crumbly Q there. Yeah, he's definitely floppy after that.
that look, and the thing, Draymond, there's no need to ask why, because you've done that so many times to LeBron James. Fuck you.
Yeah, he did. I don't think he referred that on, did he? I mean,
that motherfucker would have been good from 47 yards away.
balls.
Cade York would have missed it left. Oh my God. That's
that was like Corey Bjork at 70-yarder.
Somebody downed his nutsack inside the 10 is right, Amsterdam.
You didn't get kicked by the kicker that had half a foot.
Oh God. But of all the players that I wanted to see writhe in testicular pain, that's the guy. So this is such a victory Monday. I mean,
I'm dying over here.
yeah, I know. I don't care what YouTube says to me. I don't care.
It
I don't
doesn't
care.
get any better than that, man.
No, it
They
does
gotta let
not.
it does not.
Oh my God. All right. Before we get out of here today.
That's right up there with Jim F. Brown from back in the day.
Oh God. I mean, I'm so glad I hung with it and I got that out. And
that is a top 10 Moohead moment, I think, right there. That is fucking classic.
oh my God. I mean, that look on his face says it all.
It's like I can't really say anything because I've done this to loads of people. So.
I don't know where my left testicle is. It's gone.
Gone.
All right. So the last thing is, it's not just the Browns with the injuries. Daniel Jones, the quarterback, the fans have to put up with torn ACL. Isn't that the way it had to go?
I get him confused with Mac Jones and Daniel Jones and Daniel Boone and all these fuckers.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Jenny Jones.
Jenny Jones.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But, yeah, gone. Season-ending torn ACL. And, that's... Well, something, Mary Kay Cabbage Head, I don't want to see her.
What's she done now?
No. I mean, Amsterdam saying it would be great if she'd have gotten taken out while doing an interview on the sidelines. It's like, no. I don't want anything bad to happen to her. I just,
Drew Green, yes. I mean, that's,
something, Wable, sometimes you get a bad feeling about something.
Yeah.
When silence dominates the whole thing. I'd say that Jim Donovan is going through a hell of a lot right now. And, what I know, having lost a very, very dear friend to leukemia, is blood cancer is like any other cancer. You can't conquer it. And the thing that hurt me the most was listening to his last broadcast when his voice cracked when he said he'd be back. Because what happens is you do the big thing, which was the bone marrow transplant, and that served him basically for 11 years. And when that stuff comes back, they don't have anything strong enough to throw at it. They'll throw garbage drugs at it to keep you going. But the fact of the matter is, it's like fighting a losing battle. And I'm not speaking from personal knowledge about Jim Donovan's condition, but I'm very worried about that. And, I hope that somehow he beats the odds. I really hope, because
the Browns broadcast crew, I mean, it has a history of that. Jim Grainer and Nev Chandler and all that. It's kind of a sad thing to bring up. So
and I hope he's okay, and and it's the same thing that I said about Dick Vitale. Once cancer's got in you, that we don't have a method to get rid of it. We can extend lives, but it just like Suzanne Summers' husband can tell you, it stalked her for 23 years, and Jim Donovan on and on and on like this for some time. And I don't want to think of the negativity involved, but I wish him well and I wish his family well. That is kind of hurtful. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning into this edition of Moohead Radio. Again, Topaz gets on the transport on Wednesday. We get on we get on the plane on Thursday. Get back into Florida Thursday afternoon, and I'll be ready. As far as Friday is concerned, let me see what I'm walking into, because I'm not sure I'm going to have an automobile that starts. I'm not sure what the situation is. I've had it on a charger. I'm hoping that this works. It's the first time that I've tried this, and we'll see. But I may be forced to be out and about doing things. So Friday show, maybe yay, maybe nay, but It'll be a pre-game time decision. That's
Yeah, you're questionable at best.
Yeah, right
And
now
you
I'm
may
questionable.
be physically unable to perform.
Absolutely. Well, no, Draymond Green is
Draymond
physically
Green.
unable to perform. He's on the pup list now.
Yeah, he ain't gonna
motherfucker.
be. He wasn't having sex after that game.
He'd already paid somebody too. Fuck him. Fuck him. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you again whenever I see you next.
I love you, Cleveland.
I love you, Draymond. See y'all when I see y'all. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.
Wow. All right.